Aguila, however you want to say it, mini shell. This is the buckshot version. There is a slug version with a little slug in it too. I got these a while ago. They've been on the market for a long time. I just haven't gotten around to doing anything with them. So we're going to take a look today, shoot them into our ballistics gel with our standard one layer denim, one layer of fleece, and see how they do as far as potentially being used for self-defense. I have some doubts given how small these things are. Test gun's going to be the Mossberg 930 Pro. So I'll also get some feedback as to whether or not they cycle a semi-auto. I doubt they will, but maybe I'll be pleasantly surprised. All right, so these guys are, per the factory, rocking 7 BBs and 4 pieces of buckshot at 1,200 feet per second. So we will get the chronograph out and double check that. The Mossberg has a 20-inch barrel, so that should help out a little bit. You know, given most of your self-defense shotguns are going to be 18 inches. So we will see. I'm kind of interested in this one. I don't have any of the slugs to test, but we'll go with the buckshot. I'll also count how many rounds. Normally this is a 8-round tube. I'll count how many go in there and let you guys know as well. Alright, so we just shot the Aguila mini shells buckshot there into our block with a layer of denim and fleece on this end. I pulled that off and moved it so you guys could see, and I am very pleasantly surprised. I didn't think this stuff was going to do that well. I imagined it to stop kind of about there, just because of how small the shells are. But as you can see, I mean, some of those pellets made it out almost to the extreme end all the way through the block. So that is way better than I thought they were going to do, just given how small it is. Normally I shoot, when I do these tests, from 10 yards. I did shoot this one from 5 just to make sure I got all of the pattern, all the projectiles in the block. My shotgun's got a modified choke in it, so not too tight. But you can see on the front here, that being, so I mean, where it hit is about that big, about yay big. So maybe 2.5 inches across is how wide the pattern was at 5 yards. I mean, it's very close, but still, it's holding together pretty tight at, you know, self-defense distances. Even if it was 10 yards and it was twice that big, you'd be just fine. So yeah, I am, like I said, very, very impressed that it penetrated as much as it did. Just like I said, given how small the shells are. I chronographed it, and I'll throw those numbers up. The box here is advertising 1,200 feet per second, and I got pretty much that. Some were a little below, like 1170s, 1180s. A couple were up above 1,200. So overall, these did not cycle my semi-auto shotgun. Interesting note though, so all you can see here is one stovepiped. The ones that were just below 12 didn't even move the bolt back enough to cycle it. The ones that were just above 12 moved it back enough to get this kind of malfunction. So honestly, if these things were a little hotter, maybe if they're pushing out of there like at 1,400 feet per second, it might actually cycle a semi-auto gun. Besides that though, they do have a lot of feeding issues. Pretty much every time I tried to load from the magazine or from the tube, I got a double feed. So 2 shells would hop out of this tube and try and feed in at the same time, just because of how short they are. So overall, do not use these in a semi-auto, and I would definitely even extensively test them in your pump, just because they are so much shorter than what these guns are made for. I actually didn't get really any extra capacity out of mine. Normally that tube holds 8 rounds of buckshot, or 2 3/4 inch shells, not necessarily buckshot, and it held 8 of these. There was more space in there. I'm guessing the way the spring compresses in there, it just didn't make enough extra space to fit a full another one in. I have loaded these in other guns and got an extra couple rounds in. So my like I said, guess is that just has to do more with the spring in this specific gun, because I do know that you do get some extra capacity out of these. Hopefully this has been helpful. I think these things are super interesting, and I definitely am impressed with how they did. Would I use them for self-defense? I'm more likely to now, but honestly, I would, if I was going to use a shotgun, I would still take standard full power buckshot, just because the overall length of the round and is what these guns were designed for. I think when you deviate this far, you can get into some reliability issues. Definitely test it extensively before you rely on it, but it's super interesting, and I just think they're fun. And besides, they're like the most adorable shotgun shell you can get. Anyways, I hope this has been helpful. Any other questions, comments, feel free to leave them below, and don't forget to like or subscribe.